Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. I can actually say happy Friday. Happy Friday, Saurabh S, all the way from Bangalore in India. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for hosting us.
No, thank
Pleasure.
you. Thank you, thank you. And you said the sun's shining bright in the morning in Bangalore. I think what did you say? It's like roughly, is it 10 a.m.? Did you say?
Yeah, it's 9:30, 9:45.
Yeah, 9 4. So there you go. Well, it was shiny here in the morning too. So I'm quite a few hours ahead of you, and it's a beautiful sunny day here in Melbourne, Australia as well. But thank you for coming on the show, and really thrilled to be chatting to you. I've already had a little bit of an education session pre-show. I always love a little bit of an education session pre-show, and I think it'll be great for the audience as well. You're the founder of Adloggs, and it's about to become 5 years young. I'll say 5 years young. And it's an AI powered delivery orchestration platform. I didn't ask you about the orchestration, but I certainly will be. I now get why you were explaining what you were explaining to me. I understand the orchestration bit actually. That unifies multiple 3PL partners to automate assignment, optimize real time routing, and centralize last mile logistics for businesses across India and the UAE. Adloggs has been profiled for scaling hyper-local delivery infrastructure and recently raised seed funding led by Multiply Ventures and Oxano
Yeah,
Capital. Tell us a little bit
yeah.
about your journey.
So journey has been quite stock market like, I would say. So
Oh,
we have seen our ups and we are on the up. And the interesting part is that we are trying to synchronize or create a balance between the demand and supply. That's what essentially orchestration means, wherein we know the part of the world wherein there are a lot of demand players that exist. Similarly, there are a lot of supply players. Now, these demand players don't obviously talk to each other because they are busy acing the demand from the market. And similarly, these supply players don't talk to each other given they have independent roles to play. So what we are trying to do is to plug ourselves right in the middle, um, wherein the entire demand flows to us and the entire supply flows to us, and then we marry them beautifully to make an optimized ecosystem. That's what essentially Adloggs is standing for today. And we are scaling ourselves to be the DMS, which is the next phase of ours. And we have already launched it and we are pretty deep into it, which is operating system for the logistics that exist out there for companies.
right.
When I'm talking about operating system, it starts from creating the route mapping, getting you supply, and enabling that supply to get your order delivered on time every time, right? So when you're talking about 3PL or when you're talking about 1PL, PL stands for party logistics, right? And when we are saying party logistics, it essentially means people who are working to deliver your product. Say, for example, today, Uber Eats, right? Or DoorDash that exists in Australia market from an Australian context, and Swiggy, Zomato in Indian context. These are big players, or McDonald's or KFC for that matter, that exist out there. These are global brands. They work with us. What we do for them is they are demand generating platforms.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm saying demand platforms, they have consumers. They get the consumers to buy the product, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, when you're ordering from McDonald's or KFC or DoorDash or um, you know, or Uber Eats for that matter, what they do is generate demand. That's their primary function. And what we do is give them a plug which exposes them to all the kind of supply or delivery boy that exists out there.
Yeah, right.
So, right, so big players in Indian context, say Rapido, Shadowfax, or Uber, who have just launched their B2B category in India, which is Uber, uh, Uber Fast is what they call them, I believe, which is giving you a delivery boy when it is required,
Yeah, right. Okay.
right? And that's what we marry, and that's what the entire platform is about.
Wow. So
Getting
it's
into the
almost, oh, sorry, you go.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, it's like that. I'm lost for words. It is Friday. It is coming towards the end of the year. Forgive me, but the two-sided market. What do we call it? It's like it's like the two-sided market. Oh, there's a term for it, and I've lost my term. You know what I'm talking about?
You can call me an aggregator. You can call me, for the ease of understanding, as Sky Scanner of the logistics ecosystem.
Yeah, right.
Hyperlocal, hyperlocal logistics ecosystem. And when I'm saying hyperlocal logistics, I am essentially saying it's anything that needs to be delivered in less than 2 hours.
Mm. Wow.
That's what that's what defines hyperlocal.
And
So
how? No, you keep going. Sorry.
generally the kind of categories that fall into hyperlocal are food, pharma, grocery,
Yeah,
meat. Now, fashion is also catching up. In Indian context, there is a big boom of quick commerce that is coming in, which is instant grocery deliveries that you're looking for.
quick
And
comments.
it's in past.
Yeah, I haven't heard the term quick commerce. You're giving me a lot of new, interesting, new world, new paradigm language. How did you see a problem? Did you see an opportunity like 5 years ago? Like you talk around the orchestration of, and I love talking about ecosystems and, I think in the new paradigm, even more so, we're going to see more and more interconnection as much as there's decentralization, kind of from a hierarchy perspective, but there's also then the need to interconnect, and what you're talking about here is that you're interconnecting the whole ecosystem, right? And I feel that a lot of the old world has been operating, not everything, but a lot of it has been operating in a disconnected way. And there's this now, this in this new world and this new paradigm that we're in, that the more we need to be focusing more on the interconnection, which is exactly what you're doing. So you must have seen a disconnect in the system, or you must have seen something that you were like, oh, there's an opportunity here. Like, how did you come upon founding Adloggs, and why Adloggs, the name?
So, so Adloggs essentially stands for additional logistics.
Ah, okay, there you go.
Right. So to answer that in a reverse order, right, AdLog stands for additional logistics, and how I pondered upon or how I reached this place is an interesting story. In 2015, I was part of a company called Shadowfax Technologies, who is right now one of the biggest 3PL service providers, third-party logistics. So they are in the hyperlocal space as well as in e-commerce space, competing with the likes of Blue Dart, DHL, so and so forth, right? When it comes to within India delivery. So I was an integral part. I was the first team member to join them. I was the first employee there. Uh, was working with them for good 7 odd years, where I realized that there is a big market for logistics, given any country that you pick up, right? Um, the backbone of that company is logistics, because things need to be transported at any given point in time from point A to point B, right? Leave things now, Uber and players like Uber and all, right, have even transported people, started transport to start people, right? So essentially you book a cab comes to your doorstep, you step in and it drops you, right? That's essentially part of logistics or mobility, you can call them. So this industry has existed from, like, since the day we have seen the world moving, or this we have seen the civilization exist in terms of trading,
Yeah,
or the barter system when it used to happen. There was a movement of goods, then the world came together where they started exchanging goods between the worlds, right, between the countries, and then it moved to, from the world, it has narrowed down to within our vicinity, wherein you're looking for restaurants, you're looking for grocery stores, you're looking for meat category, meat stores or fashion stores within a certain periphery that you live in, right? The interesting part came in the next when we were building Shadowfax, which is a third-party logistics company, essentially providing you delivery. I was done with it, and I said, no, I don't want to do this B2B business anymore. I jumped to a company called Magic Pin, which exposed me for not only giving delivery services, but also how to generate demand for these brands. It's an aggregator out here, like Uber Eats and DoorDash exist in Australia. Uh, it's a smaller player. It gives me a lot of exposure, and that's when I realized that there is a big inefficiency that exists out there, wherein when these supply players that I'm talking about. When I'm saying supply, I'm essentially talking about people who are giving you delivery boys on demand
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
delivery people on demand to drive the product are
Delivery
not
women,
talking to
delivery
each.
men, delivery people. I'm going to call the women in too.
No, that's why I purposely chose delivery people,
Yes.
because uh, right now this as a category is evolving so fast that there is so much need, dire need of so many people
Yes.
that it's just unfathomable, right? Now, having said that, we realized, as a matter of fact, that there is a dire need of a platform which will help you create more efficiencies in the ecosystem. When I'm saying efficiency, let's take example from some different industry which people are more versed to. Today, if you want to book a ticket, a flight ticket, you don't go to individual websites. You go to flights.google.com or you go to skyscanner.com, right? To give you one-stop shop
Best price.
for
Yeah.
all the kind of flights
Yeah.
and along with pricing that is available out there. That's exactly what we are doing for the delivery ecosystem.
Yeah. Right.
So, but from this is more B2B in nature than B2C, because there you go as a consumer and look for a
Yes.
airline ticket for yourself, right? Here, we are more enabling the businesses. So essentially, this business is B2B2C, wherein
Yeah. I love
my
B2B.
customer, my first customer is the business. However, we are delivering the consumer of that business.
Yeah. Very cool.
You
Yeah,
get
so
it,
no, I get
right?
exactly what you're
So,
saying. That whole B2B to C is so, I've always played around with B2B to C. And again, back to disconnection, right? Like you pull apart B2B, B2C is over here. But when they're interconnected, it's so much more stronger. It's a more optimized, it's all interconnected. And this is what I'm talking about in this new paradigm that we're in, because what you're saying is your primary customer is the business. But as a result of that, you're providing them the C component as well, right? Like the delivery person, to deliver that to the customer for them, which is very, very end to end in like, from an interconnected perspective.
yeah. So, what happens is essentially when these guys are playing at an individual level, right? There are a lot of inefficiencies that gets created, right? This because apart from inefficiencies, there are a lot of uh, product upbuilding that needs to happen depending upon what is required and basis the changing need of the consumer,
Yeah,
right? So the logistic side of it is very, I would say, rigid in nature because they don't have those kind of mechanisms and they have not built for the entire market, but for the specific set of customers that they're catering to. So
yeah,
they tend to restrict themselves.
yeah. It's
Technology that we are putting in is actually enabling these guys to play across the market rather than sticking themselves to just one or two category or one or two player. who for whom they initially designed the product for.
Yeah, interesting. So you talk because you called out rigid, and this is less rigid and more like almost like non-linear, right? Like it's almost like a wall that you can traverse across and go across the various sectors is what you're talking about here. It's super fascinating. I just want to slightly pivot in terms of coming back to when you booked in for the pod, and I said to you what was one unique insight or lived experience when it came to life, leadership, and or business. And these responses, I have to say, we're doing over 250 interviews since February of this year now. I've got like a whole book or something's coming out of this where I know there's things coming out of there, but your response really, every response is like making me think about things, but you said start with why instead of what. And I feel like you've been talking a lot about the why, even going back to when I asked you how did your business come about? Just in context of everything we've just been talking about and, you finding a problem and finding a solve for it and the ability to interconnect it all and basically reshape this industry and bringing it into the new paradigm. Your response? Start with why instead of what. Can you please elaborate a little bit on that, Saurabh?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you've heard of
No,
him, right?
the golden circle. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And this is what he talks about. And actually, uh, uh, it gave me a lot of deeper cut through when I first saw his video. And I'm talking about 10 years back.
Yeah.
And that's when it started to shift in my brain that whenever and whatever I'm trying to do, I would want to understand at least 5 times why am I doing this. Generally, when you are asking people, they tend to give you a response like, I want to make more money. That's why I'm doing this. But question or the answer lies more deeper that why do you want to make more money? Right? And that's my why. He gives a very beautiful example of Apple and Dell, right? Where he says, uh, why for Apple is think different, and why for Dell is we make computers. He says, and I'm firmly believing in that, and I've been trying to build on that since then, wherein if you have understood your why, which never changes over your life, because your why is built on how you have lived your life or what are the experience that you've carried on yourself. If you are able to stick to that, or if you are able to find that rather, you'll be able to achieve and deliver whatever you pick up. It doesn't matter then, because you're very clear in your mind that why are you doing this.
Yeah.
So for example, when we are talking about, when we are talking about uh, Adloggs, why we are doing is, as an organization, we feel it's a unified AI powered delivery operating system which will democratize the global logistics and earnings of the people who are actually delivering that.
Yeah, I love the
So
democratized
right now,
piece.
yeah, so we are trying to democratize with respect to the buyers of logistics as well as people who are actually delivering.
Yeah.
Now, let me just try and dwell on it, right? So when I'm saying buying buyers, I'm talking about McDonald's and KFCs and the Uber Eats and I'm again and again taking, food as a category because it is a high moving category and it generates a lot of demand globally.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying how am I democratizing the business is by giving them multiple options in one go, which they can pick and choose,
Which is the
basis the
aggregation
reliability and the
piece.
cost,
Mm. Mm.
essentially, right? So that is why for them. And given it's a business, you would want to prioritize either the cost or the reliability, depending upon what kind of or what level of customers are you catering to?
Mm.
For you, speed might be of prime importance, so you might pay a little higher. For you, speed might not be of prime importance. You might want to stick to a cheaper workforce,
Yes.
right? So it gives you an edge rather than creating a complex structure in your own ecosystem by integrating multiple layers and
Yes.
then managing them. It's a one-stop shop for you, wherein you'll be able to democratize the entire logistics availability out there.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about your business, Sarah, but what about your why? What's your why? Like, what's your why in life? You talked around, like, is your why, does your why have something to do with democratizing? Like, what's your why as the leader? What's your why in, like, I believe that life, leadership, and business is all interconnected, right? You know, talking about back to an ecosystem. And you are your business in terms of, you know, you're the founder, you know. So have you worked like have you thought about your own why and how that has played a role in the business also, like from a leadership and life perspective?
Absolutely. Matlab, that's where it all started. So, interestingly, my why comes from the fact that when we're talking from a philosophical
Yeah,
standpoint, that why, right? Why do I exist? Or what's my role to play in this universe? Or
yeah,
why am I here
yeah.
in this earth? And why not in
I'm
some
going deep on you. I want to understand this bit because I love the connection back to like how it's come apart not a part, but a part of your
so
business.
in a nutshell, why if I'm talking about my why, right? Uh, I have been born and brought up in a joint family, right? Wherein I have seen lot of love and fights happening simultaneously
Mm-hmm.
by living in a community, right? Now, as I have grown up, right, and I'm talking about like 30, 3 decades back, 4 decades back, right? So right now, I'm 40, right? So, my upbringing or my nurturing has always been calling for the community service that I can bring for the people around,
I love it.
right? And it's not about me, it's about the community every time that I'm picking up a gun, or the kind of larger impact that we can create. So if I'm talking about my why in a nutshell, uh, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, you'll see me going back to the roots of agriculture, wherein I would want to create an integrated ecosystem, which is breeding cattle along with agriculture, right? That is called integrated farming, and layering it with the old age people,
Mm,
wherein I understand in today's world everything is becoming nuclear. I moved out of Delhi. I'm a Delhi boy. I moved out of Delhi NCR, and I've been living in Delhi, in Bangalore for more than a decade now, for a decade rather now. And I still feel disconnected when it comes to living like a nuclear family.
yeah.
Right. Now, having said that, I would want to bring that entire piece together and build a integrated farming system along with an old age home, wherein I would want to serve these people and the country and the globe.
It's beautiful. So profound. I love that.
So that's my why.
Yeah.
So on a superficial level, if you'll ask me why are you doing this, I will definitely tell you, dude, I'm looking for a lot of money. But if you'll go deeper inside me and ask me why, and why, the final why is this, that I would want to serve the community because that's my true essence. In my hard times as a child, in my in my good times as a child, I have always seen community backing me up. And when
Mm,
I'm saying community, I'm talking about the joint family that I've been brought up in, right? And it gives me a lot of purpose, lot of happiness when I'm doing or delivering for the community.
yeah.
Hence, democratization
Well,
plays a very
no.
important role for me.
That's exactly right. But I can see the two connected. Like they're interconnected. This is your stepping stone into what's next. And you brought up money, right? And like I think that and you talked around, the different decades of goods and services and like the industrial revolution, etc. I think we're as part of this new paradigm we're going into, it's that value exchange, money, what does the true value of money look like? And, building your business and scaling it to what you're scaling it to, you of course are going to need money, if you like, to then build what you're talking about building in time. And so it's for me, I can see the interconnection and that big purpose piece and the big North Star.
And,
They
and,
they
and,
they connect, interconnect.
and if you look at, from the news that you gather globally, right? Uh, there are people, and people like Elon Musk and, Mark Zuckerbergs of the world are trying to go back to the same roots where they are building
Go back to them.
uh, non-traditional schools where
Mm,
you learn from nature,
yeah.
where you be more closer to nature, and you are living as a community, right? When you're talking about living as a community, there is something that you give and there is something that you take. So it's a win-win. But you have to be mindful of the fact that when you are saying win-win, it will never be 50-50. It'll be 49-51, it'll be 65-35, it could be anything, right? But it is never a true barter deal.
No.
And if one realizes that, right, then obviously we are working towards a progressive way of thinking
Mm,
rather than being submissive and saying, I would not want to do this because I am not getting this output,
yes.
right? There is a very famous saying, but I'm not remembering who said it. But the saying goes like, anything can be achieved if there is no custodian to it. When I'm saying custodian, it essentially means that I have done it or I want to do it, right? S- Think from an example that everybody comes together and working towards for a common goal, where nobody will be, given some kind of medal or some kind of reward in the end, and every whatever reward is that comes out will be equally distributed, right? Anything can be achieved.
But don't you think that's also, I mean, you and I could go down a whole rabbit hole on this and, conscious of your time and it's Friday, but, don't you think that's part of the decentralization of business and leadership as well? It's having the community, having the interconnected system, but it's a collective. It's not an individual. Yes, there still needs to be decisions made, etc. But it's the greater collective, it's the greater good that is what is going to create the success of the company. Do you know what I mean? Like I think it's exactly what you're talking about here. And I think that is what is the new paradigm we're in. And I feel like the new business model and the new leadership model. And we need to be having more and more of these conversations that to bring it to light versus the old rigid way of, layer by layer, you know, yeah.
Yesterday only, I was just talking about. I was reading one of the about one of the companies, and it's some American company, and it says they have been able to deliver $42 billion worth of uh,
Wow.
top line, right, with just 50 odd people, right? And their hiring criteria is for leadership, they hire super smart people. For the lower for the entry level guys, they only hire people who are willing to create a dent and have no mercy when it comes to work, and there is no middle layer in between. So
Yeah.
the kind of force that to build, or the community that have been able to build, that one is a guiding force and one is a delivering force, right? And both of them understand clearly that what is my job in here.
Mm,
Right now, the kind of massive organizations that we have built, right? Sense of purpose get lost.
yeah. Well, it
Again,
just
why,
gets watered down, doesn't it? It doesn't like it's
yeah,
just not clear. Yeah.
why gets lost
Mm,
per se, right? If why is lost, then the real output is like million years away.
yeah, it's interesting. But are you going to keep going? Two more questions, two final questions for you. I want to we've gone deep into the why. I love what you're doing with your business and how you're democratizing. You're a real challenger archetype, and I'm not sure, I don't know if you've ever, really looked into the challenger archetypes, but that's exactly what the democratizer does. It shakes things up. It goes from disconnecting to bring it together and, making it a better, business, better model, better everything. We've gone into the why, the why of the individual, yourself as the person, and how that connects back to your business as an entrepreneur. The AI piece, do you see AI complementing what we're talking about here? Like where do you see AI, for example, playing into the why of the human? Like can it like do you see them having the ability to interconnect also? And I know that's a pretty big question, but there's all these conversations around AI and then there's humans and how the two are, collaborating together and working together. It's not like AI has a why as such. They don't like the ChatGPT doesn't say, "Hey, this is my why," for example. What's your view? I don't even know what I'm asking
Yeah,
here, but
so
I'm just kind of, pulling the two.
see, uh, connecting to AI, which is the buzzword right now, right? To the today's context of businesses, I think it will be beautifully weaved. People just need to understand there is a superpower that exists out there, how to use that superpower. And it's an ever-changing superpower. It is changing so fast that to keep a tab on it is like
You can't,
really, really, really,
especially when it has
right?
hallucinations.
One of the biggest problems,
We said that at the
right?
start of the show.
I know as a matter of fact, people I never thought of, my people whom I interact with day on day basis, my friends and people whom I chat around professionally, I never thought of them building a lending business, right? They don't come from finance background at all, right? People building defense tech businesses, they don't come from defense, and it's a heavy capital intensive business. But now, by the virtue of AI, at least they are being pushed to think on those lines,
Differently.
and they feel,
Mm,
yeah, and they feel that they can make a crack at it. I'm still not sure of their why, but I'm pretty sure of the fact that if they're able to think on those lines and able to connect on those lines, and if they are able to see some symmetry in terms of what they'll be able to bring onto the table, I'm pretty sure AI is going way far deep than what we can even think of,
mm, yeah,
right? So definitely, in future, I personally feel money will lose its value. It will not be as powerful as it is today. There would be some other currency that we would be trading off with.
yeah,
Because there would be AI coming into the play, the R&D will go faster, right? Even with the hallucinations, there would be things to backtest.
Mm,
There would be fast, when I'm saying R&D going faster, there would be new developments that will be happening at a faster pace. New developments happening, things going, we will not be using old age systems futuristically.
no.
There would be lot of human resource that would be available for disposal, right? How do you optimize your time will not be a function anymore, because most of your time would be delivered, or most of the, if you are able to prompt or frame your thing in the right way, you'll be able to see some direction that you would want to head.
Yeah.
Say, for example, I would today, the classiest example is Google Maps. I want to go from point A to point B. I know I want to go from point A to point B. If I put in the two destinations, right, from where I am and where I'm going, Google gives me four or five ways. It's for me to choose
Which way?
which path would I want to
Yeah.
follow,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel yeah,
right?
it's a great
So
conversation in terms of, getting back to the why. And what you're talking about here is that, the more we move into, like the big buzzword that we've got, and looking at AI as a superpower, the more, and even talking around what the value of currency will look like in the future. This is going to enable everyone to get back to their why, and be able to really live and breathe their why. What would be my last question for you? What would be one piece well, what would be something you would like to leave the audience with in terms of your final thought? Or, it could be a quote, it could be a piece of wisdom, some advice from an entrepreneurial perspective. I'm going to let you choose which path you want to share.
I can talk on both, right? So I'm a chatterbox that way. So
I
I can just
know,
go on
and
and
so am I, but I'm like,
I can just go on and on. But I'll give you both the perspective. From an entrepreneur standpoint, one of the famous quotes that has been embedded into me is just keep walking. Uh,
I love that.
uh,
Right.
right? Just to be crisp and clearer, and I can just go on that, that it doesn't matter, right? And on a philosophical level, uh, I would say things or answers are just around you. You just need to touch upon them. And to touch upon them, I think to go within, or to connect with yourself spiritually, is something that you'll be able to navigate your path better.
So good. I love that. I'm into that. It's very, it's all around inside out. And again, everything you've talked about today is all interconnected in my opinion, and it comes back to that whole life leadership business. It's all interconnected. We can, spiritual, philosophical, whatever. I shouldn't say whatever, but like it all interconnects at the end of the day. How do we find out more about Adloggs? How do we find out more about you and your wise words? And yeah, and you from an entrepreneur. How do we find out more?
How do you find out more? So finding out more is to reach out to me. It's very simple, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm there on LinkedIn. I'm accessible. Just drop me a message, say hi. I'll be happy to have a chat whenever, wherever, whichever part of the world you guys are. And to talk more about Adloggs, yes, we are there. Adloggs.com is the point, wherein we say everything about Adloggs. And in case you're looking something more exciting around building up your uh, DMS, which is delivery management system. Uh, Happy to take a look and guide you in terms of how to navigate this better and how to thrive more out of it.
amazing. Thank you. I've really enjoyed our deep conversation, deep for a Friday afternoon, but I love getting deep into the why, and you've really, yeah, you've really shared a lot with us, and look forward to continuing watching your journey. And I have quite a few plans for next year, and I think there'll be a pod panel discussion around, the new currency, the new what does community look like in this new paradigm, and I'd love to have you on as one of the panel guests as well. So thank you, Sarab.
Uh,
Wishing you a great end to
Interestingly,
the week.
before we sign off, right? Interestingly, B, you should also talk to my founder, Darshan Krishnaswamy. He is an Australian national, and he has lived a lot of his life in Australia.
Oh,
Apart from, yeah,
yeah, okay. Well, let's connect after the show, and happy to have a chat. I'd love to do that. Thank you so much.
right. Thanks, B. Thanks for
Thank you.
hosting.
No, thank you. Have a great
Have a
afternoon.
great
Have a great
day.
day and a great weekend. Thank you.